What's up?
Oh, I'm just compiling all the top sports scores, news, and odds so I can make the very best bets.
Me too. BetOnline.ag.
Join today and receive your 50% welcome bonus at betonline.ag.
Well, the Boston Celtics have a lot they need to tighten up if they want to even this series at 2-2 on Monday night. I'm Sierra Goodwill, joined by Celtics team reporter Amanda Pflugrad and Josue Pavon.
What's up? Thanks for joining us, Amanda.
Yes, of course. Thanks for having me.
The bench production clearly an issue for the Celtics tonight. They were outscored by the Bucks bench 42-16. Gordon Hayward 10 points, Semi Ojeleye getting a couple buckets. But other than that, they were nowhere to be found. So Kyrie Irving, Jason Tatum needed to really pull the weight for the Celtics, and that's going to be an issue going forward. And they're going to need a little bit more of a supporting cast if they want to get it done on Monday night.
Yeah, you know, George Hill just did what he wanted out there in terms of getting to the rim, getting buckets in a hurry, and that was exactly what they needed. They needed that spark off the bench, whereas the Celtics, you know, Gordon Hayward did his best in trying to find his shots, but you got to credit the Milwaukee Bucks for what they've been able to do defensively. They're making him uncomfortable out there. They know what he did in Game 1, and I think that really set the tone for this team in sense of how they were going to defend the Celtics. And now you're seeing that in the second unit, whereas the Celtics still don't have that consistency out of their second bench because Gordon Hayward, ever since Game 1, just hasn't been exactly himself. And he's been uncomfortable out there. And a lot of that has to do with what the Milwaukee Bucks were able to do defensively.
And taking away his driving lanes, too.
Exactly.
And we've seen that. They did that with Jason Tatum as well. However, he seemed to find a little bit more of a groove tonight with 20 points. But, Sarah, like you had mentioned, outscoring the Celtics 42-16, that can't happen. That cannot happen. We need the Celtics bench with attitude for them to show up. So hopefully that they are able to respond and get it done in Game 4.
That attitude is in favor of the Milwaukee Bucks right now. They are definitely riding high in that locker room after the game. Spirits are lifted. The music is pumping. The head coach feels really strong about where they are in this series. So it's going to take a lot if the Celtics want to steal that momentum back from the Bucks.
Yeah, they got to stay focused. You know, we saw that focus throughout the first half, specifically in the first quarter. They've been starting out games pretty much throughout this entire series on a positive note, and they have to have that carry over into the second half because that's been their weakest half throughout the series. I think the Celtics have to find a way to, one, forget about what's going on with the referees and keep playing, okay? Clearly, there were some calls that shouldn't have gone the way they did, but they can't let that get into their heads, and that's exactly what I thought was going on in the second half, especially in the fourth quarter. You know, you have to just focus, continue to play it out. You know the Milwaukee Bucks are going to go through their runs. They're going to do that, you know, 8, 10, 12-0 run that they did, and the Celtics have to be able to punch back, and the second unit is a vital part of that, especially in the second half.
Right, and it's interesting to see like the third quarter. I just feel that that's always been the demise for either team, where they have the issues coming out and really trying to have that energy.
Definitely.
You mentioned Bud. He was saying that they just have that momentum right now. He said the activity is really good with this Bucks team, the defense, and just their togetherness as a whole. But I think for the Celtics, they can't get too high, can't get too low, is what Kyrie Irving says, but just maintaining that focus and also playing with that collective team effort against Giannis as well.
Definitely, yeah.
This Garden Report is brought to you by betonline.ag. Head to clnsmedia.com/win. Enter promo code CLNS50 for 50% cash back on your first deposit. And something Kyrie mentioned after the game was that they kind of conceded twos to Giannis. They let him have his in the paint. They know he's going to do his thing. He's going to put in his work. But they really wanted to defend him on the perimeter to limit a game like Game 2 where they made 23 pointers, and that's where the real demise came for the Celtics. Is that a wise decision? Amanda, we can start with you on this one.
Yeah, I mean, I think with Giannis, it's just like you have to be able to contain him whether he's going to the paint or he's out on the perimeter. I thought there was one play where he literally just took the basket, palmed the ball, and reached over all the Celtics. So his length obviously is bugging this team. But I know Kyrie said that he wasn't too worried about it with the Bucks having, 52 points in the paint. The Celtics only 24. I think that points in the paint and just clogging the paint still needs to be an emphasis for this Celtics team, because if Giannis does get hot from three-point range, then you're in trouble.
And then they also have the shooters that can really get going, which was what we saw in Game 2. But the Celtics were so, they had their mindset on defending the perimeter so much that opened up the lane, in my opinion. And then that's when you had Giannis go to the paint whenever he felt like it. George Hill goes off in the second half, coming off the bench. And the Celtics start sort of forcing the issue. Then came the turnovers, right? 17 turnovers for the Celtics. You can't get away with something like that against the Bucks. They managed to get away with it against the Pacers in the first round. But this Bucks team, if you continue to play that that way, if you're able to or commit these turnovers at this amount, like 17 turnovers, that's going to give a huge advantage for the Milwaukee Bucks. And that's exactly what you saw in the second half in Game 3, excuse me.
And I was going to say, too, when both Giannis and Chris Middleton get going, I think that's really hard for the Celtics to stop them.
Definitely.
Obviously, if you can take away one of those guys and one of their opportunities, that's probably the way to go.
Right. I think if you keep it to where Giannis gets all his points in the paint, that's going to come back to bite you. I don't think that's exactly the game plan that Brad Stevens put forth for the Celtics.
Then you'll get 30 free throw attempts out of Giannis instead of 23 he had.
Yeah, he had his fair share tonight. Well, to keep up with all your Celtics coverage heading into Game 4, head to clnsmedia.com and subscribe to our YouTube at CLNS Media.